Hello GCSE class, this is a short video about the transition section from first subject to second subject, and this happens in exposition and in recapitulation sections. So we're going to start by just listening through and following it in the exposition section. Here it is. And here's the transition melody in recapitulation. This is the transition between the first and second subject. Let's listen through it. Now let's look at the detail of the transition in the exposition section. The first interesting thing to notice is that we sort of land in A minor, which is parallel to A major. Unusual modal shift. Usually something like this would happen through a modulation, but here Mozart just replaces A major with A minor, and we're into this beautiful melody. Have a listen. Pay close attention to this arpeggio that the clarinet outlines, and also the G7 chord in the strings there. The fact that this happens over 2 whole bars really forces us into the key of C major. Listen again to the way that affects the tension in the piece and the way it really brings us into C major. Listen to the whole section. And now we're in C major. I hope you noticed that the clarinet part is once again split up into 2 registers, the upper register and the shallow mo register, and there's like a dialogue going on between them. One of the reasons this video is so much shorter than the previous one is that we covered a lot of these techniques and that they keep repeating throughout the piece. So when listening and you hear something like imitation, or if you hear a perfect cadence, just pay attention to that. Whether it's this piece you're listening to or not. Now I want you to hear this little bit again and pay attention to the dialogue going on between the upper register of the clarinet and the shallow mo register. Here it is again. Now, this is the point where the second subject begins, but these two bars building up to it, they create a lot of tension and they also sound unfinished. The full orchestra enters there and it sounds unfinished because of this imperfect cadence that is played twice in E minor. There it is. An imperfect cadence means we're ending on the dominant chord of E minor. Our second subject then brings us to E major, which, as you know, is the dominant key. And that's something we looked at in the previous video, so watch it again. Right now, though, let's listen to the end of the transition section and listen out for those imperfect cadences and the full orchestra playing. The second subject follows, of course. Okay, now let's have a look at the transition section in recapitulation. Let's look at the details, and there's not that much to say. Now, of course, you've noticed that it starts exactly the same as the previous time you hear it, and it's in A minor again, but this time we don't modulate, so only after a few bars the melody actually changes. And the reason we don't modulate is because we need to stay in the tonic key. Let's keep listening from the moment the strings take over the melody from the clarinet there. Before the second subject enters for the last time, we have the same thing as before. Full orchestra enters, there are two imperfect cadences, and one difference is that we are in A minor, not in E minor. That's all for today. I want to do a short Q&A test next time we meet. Keep working, keep doing these very difficult homeworks, watching my videos, and I'll see you in class or on the next video. Bye bye.